Hi guys, welcome to today's QGIS tutorial, lesson 14. In this video, we will learn how to use different diagrams in QGIS 3.14. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so that you can get a notification when I upload the next lesson. If you're new to my channel, you can follow all the previous lessons from the links in the descriptions below. Let's get started. So today we're going to talk about different types of diagrams that we use in visualization, and we have histograms, pie charts, salt bars, and text diagrams. Before designing and creating these diagrams, you should determine what information you want to convey. Decide whether you want to illustrate data trends, relationships, distribution, or portions of your data. Do you want to track changes over short or long periods of time? You want to determine the relationships between different variables. You want to compare different groups of variables or track changes over time. So deciding what is it you want to do will help you select the appropriate type of graph to use. So let's go to QGIS, and we're going to start a new project so that we can use the data that I had prepared for this lesson. And then we're going to load some shapefiles that I had downloaded for this lesson. So I'm going to layer, add layer. I'm adding a vector layer. Then I'm going to browse for where my vector layers are, the ones that I want to use for this lesson. And in my GIS folder, under data, I have a new folder called diagrams. This is where I saved all the shapefiles that we're going to be using for this exercise. So I'm going to click on the selected countries COVID-19 data for some selected countries that we're going to be loading into our QGIS. So I'm going to click on add, and you see it has already been added in our QGIS. So this is data for some countries in Africa. I just selected them randomly. I didn't really select them using certain specific criteria. So we're going to just label them and see what kind of layers these are. So I'm going to label them, single labels. I'll give them a black text is okay. I'll change the size to be a bit bigger, and then I will put a buffer, a white buffer behind them. So I'll click on apply, and you can see there are different countries. There are different African countries. There's Kenya, Somalia, Ethiopia, Djibouti, Eritrea, and I will also just go to placement and make sure that I'm using the perimeter on the line or above the line. Then I click on apply. Okay, so we're actually going to I'm just putting them there so that we also learn how to do the different ways of labeling. So the next thing we want to do is we want to now look at this information that is within this layer. So how do we know this information that is within this layer? We'll go to our layer, right click, and open our attribute table. And from here, you can actually see there's some information about this layer, the names of the layer, the different regions, that is Eritrea, Niger, Chad, Sudan, Djibouti, Nigeria, Ethiopia, Somalia, and Kenya, and Cameroon. And we have some other information here. I think these are just coordinates, the XY coordinates. And then there's the number of confirmed cases, deaths, recovered, active. Then there's the area, perimeter, and there's also death of males and the death of females, number of death of males and number of death of females. So the first thing, I just want to be able to just see a few things here. So I want to turn off some of these columns here. So I'm going to select organize columns, and then this is actually a new functionality in QGIS, so I'm going to uncheck what I don't want to see. I don't want to see all these. Globe. Confirm cases here. I want to see them. Yes. So all the remaining information I want to see. Then I'm going to click on OK. Now the others are just hidden, but they're just still within the layer. So the next thing I want us to do is, now that we have ascertained what our layer has, I want us to create diagrams. I want us to start by creating very nice pie charts showing some very useful information about this layer. So I'll style it first. I don't like this dark green color. So what I'll do, I'll just put maybe say right. So that looks like that color looks much better. So now we want to draw the pie charts for these different regions using the data that we have. There are two ways you can do. One, you just have a shortcut here on your toolbar that says layer diagrams option. You can click on that. But since you're a student and learning, and sometimes you might find that these are missing here, then you get stranded. I will just show you the long route. They usually say shortcuts are good, but they're dangerous. So I'm going to show you the long route. Go to properties. Then on this column here, you'll see that there is something called diagrams. So select diagrams. Then currently you don't have any diagrams for this layer. So what we do is we're going to select a type of diagram. And what type of diagram are we selecting first? A pie chart. So when you select the pie chart now, there is some active tools that appear here. And we want to use these active tools to customize our pie charts. So the first thing we do is we want to look at the attributes. Let's go to the attributes here. And you'll see there's a column here that has all your attributes, including the ones that you had hidden, but they're still within the layer. So what we want to do is we want to showcase maybe a pie chart showing the depth, the recovered, and the active. Because the depth, recovered, and active all can sum up into the number of confirmed cases, because some cases are confirmed and then they end up in sadly dying. So we're going to just showcase the depth, the recovered, and the active. So you can select the depth by just double clicking on it. It will be added here, or you can select the depth and click on the plus button. You can also select the recover and click on the plus button. You can also select the active, click on the plus button, or just double click here. It will be added here. Like for example, I can just double click on the area and you can see it is added here. But since I don't want to showcase anything about the area, I just select the area back and click on the minus button here, and it will be returned to this other side. So the next thing we want to do is we want to do some styling here. I don't actually like the kind of colors that are on these layers. So for the depths, I want them to have a red color. So just double click on this color and then use the color wheel. Select the kind of color that you want. I think I will select a red color like that. Then okay. Then for the recovered, this is a green light here. So I'm going to just select a green color because they are recovered. They are very safe and sound, which is positive. Okay. Then for the active ones, I'm going to select the yellow or orange color. Let me just select the yellow color so that we say they're not yet well, but then we are hoping that they will be okay according to our data. So I'm going to select that, the 3. Now on the legend here, you can even edit now the name, the number of depths. Instead of just depth, you can just say number of depth. Then this one can still do the same thing, number recovered. And then this is active, right? So we have the number of deaths, number recovered, and then this is the active cases. So you can say active cases. Okay, So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm not going to do anything here. I've just selected all the attributes that I need. I'm going just to click on apply. And when I click on apply, now you can just move this aside here, and you can see actually some pie charts have appeared on display. So you might be comfortable with these pie charts, but then maybe you want to do a little bit of customization. So let's go ahead and look at how we can customize this. So I'm just going to make sure that some are in display as I do the customization. So now let's go to the next thing, which is rendering. Let's look at rendering. So the opacity, if you feel like this color is too much, you can just change the opacity to maybe 672. Let's do that, and then click on apply, and you see they become light, and you can even see part of the background. Now you can also I can just leave them at maybe say 84 there. I don't want them to be off display completely. Then the line color, you can change the line color. If you don't like, you want to change, you can, currently the line color is black, you can put it on transparent on all that, or on red on all that, but I'll not change anything on the line color. The line width, you can put it to be a bit bigger if you want, like for example maybe put 1. And you can see the line color changes. That will be a bit bigger. Then starting angle is at the top. You can change that maybe to right, and then click on apply. See what happens. You can see starting angle changes. Maybe bottom, then apply. And you see the starting angle changes, but I just leave it at the top for now. And I'll also reduce this size. Instead of 1, I'll put 0.05, 0.5. Then I click on apply. And now we have better. So the direction can be clockwise or counterclockwise. It doesn't really matter so much. You can go deeper into drawing effects, but we'll not go into that in this lesson. So the next thing we go to is the size. You can see all of them have almost similar size. They're the same in size. But now we want to do a little bit of customization. We want to say maybe the size is dependent on the area of the region. So what do we do? Instead of having just one size, which is 15, we can actually scale it. So scaled size. So what attribute are we going to be using to show the different scales? So what I'm going to use now the area. Let's just use the area. So the bigger the area, the bigger the pie chart. The smaller the area, the smaller the pie chart, for proportionality purposes. Then here under maximum values, I'm just going to tell the software to find the maximum value. Then the size is going to be 5. I'm just going to leave it at 5 first. Now I'm going to click on apply. Once I click on apply, you can now see everything changes. They become very, very tiny and very small. So I want to say maybe the size should be, maybe say, let's say 25. Instead of 5, let's put 25. Then we click on apply. And you can see now the bigger areas, like for example Sudan has a very big pie chart, and then Ethiopia also has a very big pie chart. Chad has a very big pie chart, but you can see here areas like Djibouti and Eritrea have very small pie charts. So we want to sort this problem of Djibouti having a very, very, very tiny pie chart. How do we solve that problem? You can come now down here and say increase the size of the small diagrams. So I'm going to select this, and then instead of having it at 0, I will say maybe have it at maybe 6 instead of 0. And then I click on apply, and then I'll move to see if there's any changes, and you can now see at least it has become much bigger. So you can actually decide the minimum size to have a certain, like maybe say, let me just change it to maybe 10 and see what happens. Then when I click on apply, you can see the smaller charts the pie charts, they become a little bit of bigger and visible. So this is the first way you can actually create your pie chart. So you can see the areas that have the big areas have a bigger pie charts and the small areas have smaller pie charts. And you can see here on our legend here, the red color represents the number of deaths, the green color the number of recovered, and the yellow color the active numbers of the cases. So the next thing I want us to go, I want to look at the placement. You can mostly people like placing them around the centroid, especially for the pie charts. You can place them wherever you want. Like for example, they're using the perimeter. When I click on apply, they will go to the perimeter. You can see they have gone to the perimeter, so you can also use that and then put them on the perimeter, but I'm going to just leave them over the centroid as it is. So I'm going to click on apply and they go back. Then I'm going to go to options. You can actually do so many other options here. Then there is the legend here. You can also do some customizing there. So that is all about the pie charts. Now let's go to the next kind of diagram, which is the text diagram. But before you go to the text diagram, I'm just going to click on apply, okay. And for the text diagram, I'm going to now create a new layer, a duplicate layer of this layer, so that I can now show you how to create the text diagram. So I've created a duplicate layer. So I'm going to just rename this to, I'm going to rename it to pie charts. This is just for your own purpose. Then I'm going to now uncheck these. Now I'm going to select these now. I want to work with now the new copy and I want to create text diagrams. So what I will do, I'll do the same thing. I'll go to properties. Then this time round, instead of pie charts, I'll use text diagrams. I'll look at the attribute. You see, it just remembers every attribute because actually we have just duplicated the layer. So I'll not do anything else. I'll just click on apply first to see what happens. And then I'll move to see my results. And you can see now it has just adopted all the other properties, including even the sizes of the different colors, the different countries. But the only difference is now this is a text diagram. It has information. The red information is the number of death. The green information is the number of recovered. And the yellow information is the number of active. So you can do a combination of the two layers. Then just click on apply, okay. And when I check these, they are actually overlapping. So what I will do, I will just go back to this layer. And then I'll go to placement. That's the only thing I'm going to change. And I'm just going to say inside polygon instead of just having it as part of the centroid. So and then I'm going to click on apply. Okay. And there's still no much movement in some of these. So let me just go back again and also change it to maybe say using perimeter. Then I click on apply. Okay. And you can now see there's a little bit of movement. You can see there you have both the pie chart and the text diagram on the same map. So that is how we can do a combination of the two. And mostly people like not having the color, the background, the white background color for these text diagrams. Sometimes you can do customization on your own. I can just go to rendering the background color. Instead of having a color there, I just say let it be transparent. Then I click on apply. Okay, and you can now see we just have the information about this layer, but it's a text diagram. Now let's go to the third way, the third kind of diagram. So I'm going to right click, go to properties again. And before I go to properties, actually what you can do is this. We can also create now we can create another layer of the same. So that was the text diagram. So I'm going to duplicate this layer again, and then I'm going to rename these and say this is text diagrams. Text right. So So these are text diagrams. Then now I want to show now, maybe say the histograms. So I'll do the same thing now here. This is now the histograms. I'm just going to rename it because I can do it at the end, or I can just do it right now. So I'll just write histograms. Then I'm going to open, and then I'm going to now go to the diagrams, and then attributes. Now I want to change the attributes of this. I don't want to see this number of deaths, number recovered, and active numbers. So what I will do, I just select all of them and then remove them. Now we have something else here called the deaths of male and deaths of female. So I'm going to add the deaths of male and deaths of female. You can just select both of them like this, click on add, or double click on each and every one of them and be able to just do manipulation. So for the males, I'm just going to get a color here, this nice pink purple color. Then for the females, I'm going to get this nice light blue color. Yes, so I have depths of males. You can actually edit, because I wrote in short form in the attribute table, and depths female. Yes, then still under text diagram, sorry, so I'm just going to change it to histogram. Now under histogram you can't actually use a fixed size, so we are going to be using a scalable size, and the attributes are these. So under size, I'm going to now select the total number of deaths. That is the attribute I want to actually use to customize. Then I'm going to find the maximum value, and then the bar length I can leave it at 25 first. Then I'm going to click on apply. Okay, and you can see it has actually created some very nice bar graphs for males and females of this region. So I'm just going to do a little bit of customization for this. I'm going to go to first rendering, and you can see the bar spacing is 5. I will change it to maybe say 1. Then when I click on apply, let me just move this on the side. When I click on apply, you can see now the bar spacing is much better. So you can actually even change the width of the line, bar width, and all that. So I think they look good. You can even change where they should be placed, maybe say using the perimeter again, and click on apply. Okay, so it has actually placed them on the perimeters. And when I check the other kinds of layers, you can actually be able to see the different kinds of charts within the same map area. So let's quickly go to the fourth option, which is the stocked bars. I'm going to also create a new layer. I'm going to duplicate this so that I have a fourth duplicate here, and I'm going to rename it and call it stock bars. I'm actually going to uncheck all these so that now we do a customization of the stock bars here. Now I'm just going to go to properties, and then I'm going to first go to placement options, use the centroid first, click on apply, so that it returns our initial bar graphs there nicely. Then I'm going to now select the stock bars. Then you can actually use the same data for males and females, or you can just customize it to maybe say the deaths, the recovered, and the active. So I'm just going to use now the deaths of males and females, because now you already know how to choose whatever you want to showcase in this attribute table. So I'm going to click on apply, and you can see it has already put the bars on top of each other. So depending on which one you want at the top, you can see the dates is the bottom, and the dates of females is at the top. So that is how you can actually do the stock, and you can actually do a customization. If you feel that there's a lot of a big gap here, you can actually come to just rendering, change the opacity. Bar spacing is 1. You can change it to maybe and say 0. You don't want any bar spacing. Then you click on apply, and you see it actually closes that gap. And you can do many other things, including changing the placement to maybe say around centroid, or using the perimeter. I just use the perimeter for this. Then I click on apply, okay, and I have now put my stock bars in display. And you can actually now import these into your very nice interactive map, and even send it to someone to just visualize the different kind of information that you have in any kind of layer. So that's it. That's how you do that's how you use diagrams in QGIS. If you found this video useful and you want to learn more on QGIS, subscribe to my channel. Hit the bell icon so that you can get a notification when I upload the next lesson. Otherwise, I'm just happy you're here. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. See you in the next lesson.